What's going on, lads? It's BillyTheKid here, and I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for joining me for today's video. Today's video is another Battlefield 4 gameplay commentary, and the gameplay in question is Conquest Large on several different maps. Now, on Conquest Large I love to play with the vehicles of the battlefield, and one of my favourites, other than the attack jets and the stealth jets, are main battle tanks. Now, my normal loadout for main battle tanks are sabot rounds, the APS, and as my secondary armament I usually like to use the coax light machine gun. However, for today's commentary subject I decided to use the staff shells. Now, the subject in question has been brought up again and again, probably since the launch of Battlefield 4, and that subject is: did DICE introduce too many smart weapons into Battlefield 4? Now, some of you are probably wondering, what do you mean by smart weapons, Billy? By smart weapons, I'm on about weapons like the MBT law, weapons like the staff shell, weapons like active radar missiles that require very little of the player's skill to actually achieve a hit or even a kill with them. So today's commentary, I just want to give my own thoughts and opinions on this subject, because I've heard it brought up again and again. So let's start off with the MBT law, which I think is not much of a big deal when you think about it. The MBT law is the first anti-tank weapon you get as an engineer when you start off in Battlefield 4. If you're a complete noob in the game, you will start off with this weapon, and many people hated it when it first came out. They said it was just basically a mini javelin missile. All you really have to do is point the launcher at a tank, fire, and the missile will hit the nearest enemy vehicle, or any vehicle at all for that matter, in the radius where you fired it. It doesn't require a lock-on, and when the missile gets very close to the tank, only then will you get a warning that you've been fired on by an MBT law. So it basically gives extremely low response time to hit a smoke round or an APS or anything, and even in that case, if you do hit the APS or smoke discharger or anything like that, normally the missile will still hit you and you will still take damage. Now, the MBT law is by far the easiest anti-tank weapon you can use as an engineer. However, it does come at a trade-off. It does the least damage. So I really don't think personally the MBT law is a big deal when you think about it. I just wish that maybe smoke or APS would have some type of effect in protecting you from the effects of the missile, but even then, if the missile does hit you, it does the least damage and it's not much of an issue. So those are my thoughts on the MBT law issue for me. So let's go on with the other two smart weapons I want to cover in today's commentary. Those are the active radar missiles and the staff shell. Let's go on with the staff shell first, because I feel that this is a weapon that needs to be tweaked a little bit, because it is glitched. It is glitched. Basically what it is, in case you have never used it before and haven't unlocked it, the staff shell is a secondary weapon you can use in main battle tanks, and it is the main battle tank's version of the MBT law. You see an enemy vehicle, you switch to your staff shell, you fire it, and the second the staff shell gets close to an enemy vehicle, it locks onto it and hits the target straight away, almost immediately. Now, I believe it also has the same properties, in which it gives off little warning that the enemy has fired a staff shell with you. Until 2 feet away from the target, the missile will lock onto you and you'll get a warning, but by then it's too late to do anything. And not only that, in case you do hit the APS, the missile will still hit you. Anyway, here's the main problem I have with this weapon, and a lot of other people have with this weapon, is the fact that it's glitched. What you can do in certain situations when you're up against enemy vehicles is fire your staff shell, switch to your main gun, fire that, switch back to the staff shell, fire that once it's reloaded. And in that case, in those instances, it's extremely easy to destroy enemy tanks and other enemy vehicles, because the fact that it's glitched, that you can switch back and forth. It's like, remember Battlefield 3 with the canister shell. You could fire your main gun, switch to canister, fire that, switch back to the main gun. It's very similar from my experiences with the staff shell, and in a lot of cases in the gameplay both provided and in past gameplay, I have destroyed so many vehicles with this glitch, it's beyond stupid. I really don't think staff shell even deserves to be in main battle tanks. You have the sabot rounds, you have the heat rounds, you have the AP rounds. You also have coax light machine guns, coax heavy machine guns, and so on and so forth. So I really don't see the need to put in a weapon like the staff shell that's just all my opinion, and those are my thoughts on the staff shell. If they are going to leave it in the main battle tanks, they need to stop having it glitched, so you can switch back and forth between the staff shell, fire that, switch to your main gun, fire that, make it a little bit more balanced. So those are just my thoughts on the staff shell issue, and for the final smart weapon today I want to talk about the active radar missiles. In case you've never unlocked them, active radar missiles are the NBT law version of anti-aircraft missiles in the game. When you unlock them, all you have to do is keep an enemy aircraft in the reticule on the screen. Once the aircraft is in the circle, you fire the missiles, which automatically track onto the aircraft, and 9 times out of 10 they'll always hit you. You will get a warning just before you get hit, so there's a chance that you can pop ECM or flares, but most times you will get hit by them. Now, in my experience, they do very little damage. Very rarely have I used active radar missiles and actually disabled or even destroyed an enemy aircraft. Normally I often have to finish them off with my cannon, and to me, I really don't see the need to have active radar missiles at all in the game. You get heat seekers and you get passive radar missiles. Why would you want to put in something like this for, you know, I can see where they were going with this. Let's introduce, if we've introduced the NBT law, if we introduced a tank version of the NBT law, why not introduce an anti-aircraft version of the NBT law? I can see where they were going with this, but I really don't see the need for it when you have 2 different lock-on anti-aircraft missiles. Like I said, this does the least damage, and it really annoys me when I hear that beep 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 literally 1 second before the missiles hit me. So in my view, active radar missiles aren't needed. You have 2 separate different sets of lock-on missiles you can use, and you have your gun as well. So I really don't see the need to have active radar missiles in the game at all. Those are just my thoughts of these smart weapons. It's up to you to decide, you know, are they needed, are they not needed? To me, some are and some are not. Active radar are not needed. The NBT law is needed just to help people who are new to the game, who have never played Battlefield before, get used to using an anti-tank weapon and then to progress further up the ladder to unlock the RPG and get better with that. So lads, those are just my thoughts on these smart weapons. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this subject. Let me know what your thoughts are on the weapons in question. Thanks for watching lads, this is BillyTheKid. Leave your feedback down in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more. Follow me on Twitter. In the description you'll find a link to my Twitter page and you can follow me there. Once again lads, thanks again for watching. This is BillyTheKid and I'll see you again.